All right, so now we have a database, we have a table, we need to connect to it. So let's go to our editor, let's open it up, and let's create a folder inside the CMS. All right, so anywhere here, right click on it, and let's create a folder here called includes. And the reason why, actually, I was creating a file, sorry about that. Right click on it, new folder, includes. The reason why we want to put an includes folder is because we don't want these files that we're going to be creating here into the public area. You see, all these folders are going to be in the public domain where we put our CMS system. So we want the includes to have a really secure data that in there. All right. So inside this include, let's right click on it and create a new file. And I'm going to call this db.php. This is the file that we are going to be using to create our connection. All right. So let's open a PHP tag in here. We don't have to close it, but I always like to close it anyway. PHP knows that everything below. If you're not writing HTML on this file, you don't have to close it, but I like to. If you're not writing anything that it needs, like on this file here on db.php, this is going to be the connection. I'm pretty sure we're not going to be using any HTML, but again, I'm just the way I am. Anyways, for us to connect to our database, we need a function called mysql connect, and we need to pass it some parameters. All right, so this is really easy. Right now we pass a local host. This is always going to be the name mostly for all servers, even online in real life. It's going to be a local host. And then we are going to be passing it the username. And then we are going to be passing it the password. In this case is empty. And then the next one is the database name, and that is CMS. This is the easy way of connecting to it. All right, it's not the correct way. I'm going to show you the correct way of doing it. And let's just assign this a variable. It's not the 100% correct way. It's not that bad either, but I like to do it another way that I think is actually better. So we're going to use that if statement here just to make sure that our connection it's good. Remember the if statement is going to return true or false to us, and we are assigning a variable to it so that way we can manage it a lot easier. All right, so let's see if our connection is true. We're going to say we are connected. All right, if it's not, we're not going to see anything. So let's just make sure that we close that. Let's open this. Let's click on it. Let's first save this file right here and then just click on it. For some reason it doesn't want to click on it. All right, let's just go manually here. I don't know what's going on with my editor there. Just maybe crash or something. I don't know. Let's just go ahead and go locally to this. All right, let's go ahead and includes DB right here. We are connected. All right. So we know we are connected there. There we go. Now it works. All right. So that's the easiest way to connect to a database. Let me show you the way that I like to do it. And let me show you two more ways of doing it actually. DB, and probably seen this before in my. So we're gonna say DB user. We're gonna say localhost to this. So we just type in, we just save everything in variables. That's the way we do it. Some of us do it, and we put these values in here instead of this. All right. Now, I always like to be very secure with my data. I'm going to show you the most secure way of doing this. And the most secure way of actually connecting to a database and have all this information here is by converting these values into constants. Right now, we can go ahead and convert this into variables and put these values in here. That just makes it easier for us to use this function right here, right? And it makes it more organized. But I want to put all this value. What my idea is to make this as constants, but it would take me a long time to write each constant down, or I don't know. I have a really cool little trick that I do, and it's that I put all these values into an array. So for example, I make that key to the array db host, and I just put localhost in here. Let's just copy this here. All right, and then just copy and paste all of it, everything down. And I'm gonna call this db user db pass. And if you don't remember how to make arrays, go back to the lecture, and that way you can get some more. I know, we got lives and we get pretty busy and we forget. So I'm just assigning the values here to the array. So we're gonna accumulate all this data right here into an array called db. That's all I'm doing right now. So don't get confused on that. It's really easy. All right. So we have the key in this array called db host is gonna have this data, and the db user is gonna have this data, and so on and so on. All right. What I really want to do is convert this into constants. So I'm going to use a function that's going to loop through this array, and it's going to uppercase this, and it's going to grab this value and convert it into, well, it's going to grab this whole thing and convert it into a constant. I'll show you right now. And what loop? Remember the loop that loops through an array? For each. Remember that. So the for each loop is the one that does that. And we're going to loop through the array called db as what? As the key. We can do it like this, and the key is just going to be value. All right. So we're going to have a couple things here. We're going to have the key, which is right here. We're going to use that. The reason why we're using this one here right now, I forgot the little arrow here, because we're going to be uppercasing this. All right. So that's why I'm using this one, this extra right here. You probably saw this one before. All right. But I'm going to be using the key, so you can also use it for each like this. All right. So the function to make constants is like this. If you don't remember, I'm just writing it down real quick, and it's going to be something like this, right? If we make it a constant, we make the first field a constant, it would be something like this, localhost. So this would be a constant right here, but I'm going to use this function, this loop here, to make it for me. All right. So I'm going to use the function define, and inside that function I can use another function, str to upper, and this is just going to uppercase the key, and the key right now is this one. Remember, we need to uppercase that for a constant, right? To make a constants, right? Well, so anyways, it's actually really good practice to do it, uppercasing. So let's convert the key. Let's actually uppercase it, and inside here we just put a comma, and we include the value there also. All right, so I think we're good here. If everything came out the right way, well, actually, before we do that, we need to convert this into constants, because right now this function is doing it for us. So right now, if we go like this and check it out, well, it's actually working right now too. It is still working. All right, it's converting it for us right now. Actually, this is the one. Actually, this is not. This is the one connecting right now. So that's why we're getting this data right here, because we got this one here connecting. So no, it's not working. So right now, what we need to do is we need to use constants that we already have, because our loop is making it for us. db host, we uppercase everything because everything is uppercased already for us. db pass and db name. db name. All right, so we go back to it. We still connect. If I make any mistake here, you see that? We get all this. So right now we get this going right here, and if we save it, we are connected. So this is just a little trick that I learned along the way to do, and hopefully you can use it too in your applications. All right, so now that we're connected to the database, we need to go to the next lecture. Anyway, thank you so much, and I see you then.